hours from kickoff.
Yeah, so I would say, with DJ, it is still going to be a game time decision. Definitely making progress. It is a hamstring, and so just trying to working through that. And then as far as with Cam's illness, definitely making progress. He's the guy that we're hoping to get back, but not been decided for sure. So, but those will be game time decisions, both those guys.
Jack and then Dustin.
Hey, Tom. There's 11 penalties last week against Nebraska. I'm just curious your approach in practice to going about teaching those mistakes where it can be, stuff that's just so, I guess 1 second kind of issues.
Sure. Yeah. There's no doubt, those things happen, in the moment when they got to be avoided. You go through and you evaluate the why of each one of them, which is what we did, and just to go through and whether it's technique and some of the situations on special teams with the use of our hands and our blocking technique and making sure we understand how to execute that. Worked on that. Sometimes you make replacements on guys if a guy is not able to get it fixed, and then also just the execution of our offense to be able to. That's just, to me, that's repetition. That's getting guys in the right spots in regards to their alignments, making sure they're on or off the ball with the tempo that we use. And so we got to make sure. But that's been obviously a focus for us because those cats, as we call them, crimes against the team, those kill drives on offense. And so we got to eliminate those. And then obviously the one selfish penalty which we had is a personal foul after a play on the special team that was handled from a discipline perspective. So because that to me is lack of discipline. So they're all a little bit different, but they all been addressed for sure.
Dustin and Matt Weaver.
Tom, just wanted you mentioned just Cam still working through something. I know DJ was working through some illness. I guess Deshaun had as well. I mean, have you guys had a bug moving through, and is it finished? I guess, or is it something?
Well, I hope so. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a bug. There are two different types of things. But we have had some guys with some just those kind of things popping up, and we try to do everything we can do to get our guys proper vitamins, which we do that on a daily basis, and making sure they're getting proper rest, which I know that's part of this whole process. And so, but yeah, it's just, you deal with them individually as they come. You do everything you can do it's not COVID related, but you're still, the washing of our hands is always a big deal in any way to try and keep things from spreading to teammates as well. So yeah, you're just, things like that are tough, but you just isolate them, got a great medical staff, follow their advice. But the big thing is guys taking care of their bodies and making sure that they are getting the proper rest and getting the vitamins in them to be able to keep them healthy.
Matt and Jim Coyle.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm okay. On offense, sometimes obviously you guys are passing the ball better than you did last year, but at times there's been some inconsistencies. I know you can't control this in the flow of the game, but any emphasis on trying to get the tight ends more involved, AJ and Aaron, and I guess in your point of view, how important would that be to kind of open up the perimeter if you can get some plays down the middle of the field with those guys?
Yeah, I think it's important. There's no question. And we got to make sure when those guys are targeted that they do a great job securing the football, make those catches. And yeah, it's been a priority without question to be able to get all those guys, at every different position that to be as balanced as we can be in terms of ball distribution, to be able to not allow them to key on any certain area or schematically, form a line up to certain formations in certain ways because of not concerned about the production of a certain position. So definitely a focus, get those tight ends involved. And, obviously we've had some injuries at that position, other spots as well, other guys, but just trying to keep those guys healthy and involved.
Jim and Seth.
Hey, Coach, this week you're probably going to go up against your biggest challenge yet, obviously, defensively, a team that has run the ball extraordinarily well. And you guys have started to have some problems with the run. What have you done or have seen to maybe stem that tide with Michigan, this Michigan team coming in?
Yes, definitely a huge priority. They do run the ball extremely well. It's the strength of their offense. They throw the ball effectively, but there's no question they want to establish a run game. So it's about gap fits. It's about tackling. It's about pursuit. It's about being able to, get the proper numbers in the box that you need to be able to match up to the formations that they're going to give you. So that to me is really the key is, when you talk about playing a swarming defense, takeaways, tackling and effort, the tackling piece, making, not missing tackles. So even working hard this week on our tackling drills, the angles as well, and making sure we always have the layers to our defense to where if one guy, leverages the ball properly, there's always somebody else there to be able to be in position for that, whether we're, hammering it back inside or spilling it outside based on the call. So definitely a lot of work on that and those run fits, and that continued today. It will even continue tomorrow during our walkthroughs and our final preparation.
Seth and Tyler.
Tom, just after a really tough couple of games with some unforced errors like you talked about on Monday, just where's this team's confidence level at heading into the toughest opponent you faced this year?
Well, to me, that's a daily focus of creating that, and there's no question that when you don't execute in those moments, that's a challenge to be able to build that in spite of those setbacks and challenges. So to me, it really puts a high premium on how you practice, the attention to detail during those practices, and being able to allow yourself to have that confidence. And so, yeah, it's not getting any easier for us with who we're going to play and who we have to execute against. So yes, as these teams continue to increase in their talent level and the way that they're playing, we have to elevate ours as well. So that's the challenge for sure, and that's where we put ourselves in this position. We got to be able to respond.
Tyler and Mike.
Hey, Coach. I hope you're doing well. It seemed like last season when things went wrong, it kind of tended to snowball. I guess, is there anything you learned from those experiences last season that can help you guys make sure that doesn't happen, that kind of snowball effect happen this season?
Yeah, I think it's individual guys, stepping up when a guy may, go down and has an injury. I think that's where you got to be able to have multiple people that are able to do that. So, playing more guys early by design was part of that philosophy to help us not be in a position where if a guy does go down in front of someone that he hasn't played much at all, to be able to get him ready to play. And also, I think it's just a matter of the leadership of our guys, and our coaching staff, and being able to, on a consistent basis, recognize kind of where we're at, and be able to adapt the schedule that we're using, which we made some changes in that already this week to get our guys physically and mentally recovered for another big challenge on Saturday. So, it's a collective effort, both the coaching staff and the players, to be able to prepare the guys in your room and have a next man up mindset to where when those things do happen and things, get challenging, that you have guys that rise up to those opportunities and make the most of them. So, I'm excited for this football team to be able to continue to battle through the challenges that either we've created for ourselves and others will create for us moving forward. So that's what this team is all about. We have to understand that and embrace that and do everything we can to be able to do our job, whether that's, as a coach and as a player, to get our guys ready to go.
All right, Mike, last one.
Hey, Coach, I know there's a lot of veteran guys in that DB group. There, a lot of pride in that group as well. I mean, you talked a little bit on the radio last night about some of the mistakes they've made the last couple of weeks. I was hoping you could give some examples of what you've seen from them this week, from a leadership standpoint, kind of owning their mistakes and making sure that it doesn't happen again going forward.
Yeah, I think, Noah Pierre's been one that's really stepped up, and then in terms of verbal leadership, and Brian Fitzgerald's another one as well. And then I think, Taiwan just kind of taking ownership of his mistakes he's made, and sometimes it's been technique, and sometimes it's been eyes and things like that. So to me, it's just how you prepare, how you practice. That creates the ability to eliminate those mistakes moving forward. And so to me, it's the communication as well that we have to have as a unit. And once again, that comes back to the leadership I mentioned with Noah, and I think he's done a tremendous job this week of stepping up, and he needed to. I challenged him about that myself, and he's responded. And I feel like that others as well. So to me, that's like I said, it's a group of guys that's played a lot of football for us. We need them to be at their best. We need them to be extremely not just leading verbally, but leading by their performance. And we've got to continue to do things schematically as a defense to help them out to be able to be at their best. So that's the challenge for us. That's the goal, is to be able to put our guys in position to make plays, and then they got to make them when those situations arise.
All right, thanks, Tom.
Awesome. Have a great day. Elio.